military life right after that?
Yes, I was born in Jersey City, New Jersey, and when I was 6 months old, my parents traveled to Puerto Rico. So pretty much I was raised in Puerto Rico, all the way to high school. All my family, they're military background. They all went to Second World War, Korean War, Vietnam, and golf in Puerto Rico. We only had one golf course, and it was just for the rich people. And I couldn't play golf because you have to be a member. But I remember picking up balls from the other side of the fence, taking them home, and I made my own little putting and little golf course in my house. I made some clubs out of sticks.
Oh,
And that's what I got my first passion about golf. But it wasn't until I joined the Army at age 19 that I was introduced to a golf course and I was able to play. I was a suicide watch. I was locked up in a hospital for like 2-3 weeks. Then I went into a program from there where I spent the next 6 months to 8 months getting rehab, trying to adjust back to the regular life. And after I finished that program, I was living by myself, and I was starting to get depressed again. I started to drink again. I started to use the medication. And on the 4th of July, I was flipping the channels. I came to the Golf Channel, and that's when I saw Tom Underdown, and he was explaining about the Fairways for Warriors program in Florida, Orlando, Florida. And at that point, that's what pretty much saved my life, because I was in a dark place and I needed to do something, but I couldn't get any help. So I packed everything. I put everything in my car. I have a little Toyota Corolla, and I put all my stuff that could fit in there. Some of the other veterans that were around me, I gave them my stuff. They were very happy, so they helped me out to get everything together. And I just drove to Orlando, where from there I called Tom Underdown and I tell him I'm here. I need help, and immediately he opened his arms and told me, come on over, we're going out this weekend to play. And from there my life changed completely. At this point I'm not drinking alcohol. I'm not doing any of the medications that I was taking. Free of that. I'm going to school. I'm going to full-time school to become a golf professional. I'm also, I got hired on a part-time job, part of the school, and I work for the Grande Vista Golf Club in Orlando, which I love that job, and I'm having a good time in there. And I'm dedicating my life to give back to the warriors. So I'm helping. I'm volunteering to help all the veterans that were in my situation and that they need help. So I know how it is. I've been there. So my
I served with the Iowa National Guard. I enlisted in 1999, deployed to Iraq in 2003. When we deployed, my unit at the time didn't need any small arms repair specialists, so I cross-trained, did some OJT, and became an MP so I could deploy with them. Well, I went advanced party from Kuwait to Iraq and helped set up the Camp Cropper, which was the initial holding facility for the EPW and HVD camp. So we held anybody from the common looter, murderer, up to Chemical Ali and basically the deck of cards. At that time, we were working 16 hours on prisoner guard, 4 hours on back perimeter, and 4 hours down to shower, shave, and get cleaned up and ready for the next day. So we continued lowering our hours, going 12 hours, 8 hours, and 12 hours, 8 hours, 4 hours. So we ended up getting a lot of downtime, what we considered a lot of downtime. At the time, we were 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. I mean, the average age of the service members deployed was 19. So what do you do at 19 years old? You go to the mall, hang out with your friends, you buy CDs, you buy new shoes. You can't do that when you're in a war zone because you're constantly at war. You're constantly in an area that you're not safe. So we went downtown, was buying stuff to spruce up the camper, buying satellite dishes, refrigerators, TVs, things just to bring up morale and keep the mission ahead, but also keep a focused mind that we are in a dangerous area. So when we went downtown, I struck a landmine. We got stuck in an ambush. The vehicle came up, trapped my legs, and continued on. 6 weeks later, waking up in San Antonio, Texas, missing my legs, below the knee, burns to my arm, hand, my back, my head, and face for 2nd degree. So I had a long road and a long journey ahead of me. At 22 years old, when you're medically retired from the military, missing both your legs, and you did roofing, siding, windows, things like that in the past, you don't know what you're going to do with your future. You don't know what your life's going to be like. I was married with 2 young daughters at the time, so I had the instinct, I got to get up and go. I got to do it for them. I got to do it for them. I got to do it for my company. I got to do it for my brothers and sisters back in Iraq. I can't let them down. That was a lot of my drive early on. I was very blessed that after a month and a half after my surgery, closing my legs, I woke up from the drug-induced coma. A month and a half after that, I got legs I could walk in, and I was skiing in Colorado. So within 5 months of being hit, I was on the slopes skiing next to a bunch of Vietnam veterans that were not treated the way that we're treated today. They got spit on, eggs thrown at them, but they were smiling, they were laughing, they had the camaraderie, they had the brotherhood, and it was still alive. And they were showing us younger veterans, or the new era of veterans that come through, how it is to keep that camaraderie and that brotherhood. I moved down from Iowa to the Orlando area in August of 2011, and at the time I was traveling the country speaking and fundraising for several various nonprofits, and I was helping develop my nonprofits from 2004 on up, and I realized all the programs that we were developing were quick fixes. They were band-aids. They were, here's this weekend, this event is great, come out and enjoy your time, but then it's go home. You're alone. You're by yourself. You're in rural Iowa. You're out in Ocoee. You're away from everybody that you spent that weekend with. You don't have that brotherhood, that camaraderie, the brotherhood in terms of females and males in the military, but you don't have that camaraderie that you had in the unit. So it truly was, I guess, not really setting them up for failure, but setting them up to raise up, get out of that depressed mood, but then send them home to be by themselves. At that time I was traveling with William Castillo, who I mentioned, and he said there's a great group, there's a group of guys, there's growing every day. And every day they go out and enjoy themselves, they stay in contact, they're constant. It's not an event and go home, it's any day that you want to pick up the phone and go golfing, they're there. And it truly, in meeting Tom Underdown, the founder, it changed a lot of our lives, because we realized that we were getting that high, that great sense of, oh, this is where I belong, and then going home and realizing this sucks, we're alone. Same thing with our families. Our wife and kids are going through the same thing, coming out to Fairways for Warriors. The wife come out, the husband comes out, the spouse comes out, the kids come out. Maybe they're not married and have kids, the mom and dad comes out. The family gets involved and really helps lift up the service member, and the service member can see that they're not only with their family that they're married into, or their biological family that they live with, but they're with their new family, Fairways for Warriors. There are various nonprofits that popped up in 2004 on, and they continue to pop up. They're doing a lot of great work in what they think is a lot of great work. They each have their own individual mission, but being able to fulfill that mission at such a high level as Fairways for Warriors does, averaging around 96% going back to the mission, it's incredible. You don't see any national nonprofit at that level, and if you do, it's a phenomenal organization. And to see how they're able to get the volunteers and keep some volunteers going day in and day out to help Tom Underdown, who works tirelessly on behalf of us service members out here, to just keep that number high and the money going back where it should go. It's amazing, because a lot of the national groups, you look at them, and when you actually look into Charity Navigator and you look into their W-9s and their financial forms, you'll see they're not doing what they say they're doing. They may have the best marketing and branding in the world, but that's what the money's going to, is their marketing and branding. It's not going to the service members. So for Fairways for Warriors to keep it 96%, now having chapters in San Antonio and Jacksonville, the headquarter chapter in Orlando, another chapter starting up in the Northeast. I mean, to see that growing at that level is just incredible.
So my name is Lido Santos. I was born in Villa Gonzales, Dominican Republic, born and raised. I came to the United States when I was 11 with my parents, chasing their American dream. We moved to New York and pretty much had to start a brand new life. Didn't speak any English, and it was a little tough adjusting to America, to a new situation. But you're a kid, so you get through it, right? Um, I went to high school in Queens, in New York, and I saw 9/11 happen right in front of my eyes, and that was a turning moment in my life because I didn't understand exactly what was going on. I was naive to the fact who these people were and why they were doing it, and I didn't realize it until I got home and I saw the stress and the sadness and everything that was going on in my parents' eyes. So that was one of the things that drove me to join the military, which I did right after high school. When I graduated high school, I just enlisted from there. In 2005, I deployed to Baghdad, Iraq, a little north of Baghdad, with the 3rd Infantry Division. I was part of a personal security detachment team, and we just basically ran missions, taking VIPs to different meetings throughout the different FOBs, forward operating bases in Iraq. On September 6, 2005, we got hit with multiple IEDs from the left side, causing the driver and another person to die, and flipped the Humvee over, and I got thrown off of it. The explosion and what continued that was the hardest thing to deal with, because it wasn't much of a look at me. It was more of a hurt of look what happened to my friends. So this is what I've been dealing with since the beginning. It's not so much the physical aspect of it, but the guilt trips and the stress and just really missing people that formed a strong part of your life. In 2010, I moved to Florida to go to school for music engineering and production. And I didn't know it at the time, but I basically moved away from my family, isolating in isolation. I didn't want my family seeing and going through what I was going through, and I still go through. So that was kind of something that I learned as I went along. When I was going to group counseling with some of the guys in the local Orlando area, and that's where I got connected with Fairways for Warriors. Started coming to the clinics regularly and started playing some golf tournaments, and I just been doing that since day one, and I credit my life to golf and Fairways for Warriors for helping me come out of a dark situation, a dark cloud, as a lot of people call it. So just Fairways for Warriors just basically has saved a lot of our lives in ways that people do not know or do not understand, which is fine. I mean, we understand each other, and we got each other, which is one of the special parts about Fairways for Warriors. You get to play the beautiful game of golf with people that you know and can relate to you. So that's one of the most important parts. We struggle a lot with is infrastructure. Once you're out of the military, well, yeah, I've been doing this for the last whatever part of my life, and this is all I know. So now, what do I do after I retire or after I get out of the military? And which is something that a lot of people struggle with finding an identity, myself included. I mean, I do music, I work on music, but I volunteer as much as I can with different nonprofit organizations, just to keep myself busy and motivated and involved, because there's other guys that are still coming home today with the same injuries, worse injuries. So we just want to be there for everybody that's coming home. We're trying to be positive and let them know that life can go on, because all these suicides that we have going on in the veteran community is really unsettling and really sad. So we like to see that change, by getting involved in the community and Fairways for Warriors and other organizations, it definitely gives us that vehicle to try to improve somebody else's life. In 2006, after I got injured, my citizenship, basically it got paused, they got stopped because they didn't know if I was going to make it or not. So that got paused, and when I came back to and I tried to be proactive about my citizenship, I really wasn't finding any help. They just basically wanted me to apply again, and go through the whole process, which I already had done. I had a background clearance and everything. And a friend of mine who worked at Walter Reed Army Medical Center told me about this National Hispanic Prayer Breakfast. And he said that the President of the United States was going to be there. And I saw a chance there. I saw a chance and I took a chance. And after he gave his speech and he talked to us, he came around and he shook everybody's hand along the rope line. And that's when I approached him. I shook his hand and I told him I wasn't a citizen. I wanted to be a citizen. And he basically made it happen. 3 weeks later, he came personally and sworn me in. So that's a really neat story from my time at Walter Reed. The Warrior Golf Club is going to be something amazing. I can't wait till that happens. I'm really excited about that because we're going to have something that we can call our own. And it's the newfound love for golf and that love that we have for the military and our brothers and sisters, I think goes hand in hand with that.
Next 10 years.
Ultimate goal is to have a Warrior Golf Club at every place we have a chapter. The Warrior Golf Club is going to be a golf club that's going to be run 100% by combat warriors, mainly for them. It's going to provide jobs, internships, volunteer opportunities, but most importantly, it's going to be a place where they can go every single day, and if they can't hold a job, at least they can go there and volunteer for a couple hours. They can play golf and then hang out with their buddies. It's a place where they can go to feel safe and secure and be around their other combat vets that know about what they're going through and care about them. It's basically when you're in the military, you have a battle buddy, you have a first sergeant, you have other soldiers around you that have your back. When you get discharged, especially medically discharged, you're left out there all by yourself and kind of isolated. This will be a place where they can come every single day. Freedom is not free. These soldiers sacrifice so much for us, for our freedom, and now it's our turn to give back. We need money. We're a nonprofit. We have a lot of expenses. We want to put together the Warrior Golf Clubs in several locations. We're going to need money to build a clubhouse, to build the golf course. So you can go to our website, fairwaysforwarriors.org, and donate. If you can't donate a lot, just donate a little bit, because if everybody can just do a little bit, we can accomplish a lot.